Hello dear viewer and dear listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Shameless plug about the book as always, but this is a short introduction to a video which was recorded recently. Arun Naya was the moderator, and I was part of a panel with someone from Botswana and a young gentleman who had been funded by BDIH, and we had a conversation about innovation and entrepreneurship in the context of the current and future state of risk capital in Botswana. This is a subject with which I'm familiar, and I was sharing on behalf of Botswana Angel Network Botswana, and it was a wonderful discussion. Do enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to participate by way of questions and remarks at the end. Thank you.
Okay, welcome to panel discussion 2. We're talking about risk capital, so the current and future state of risk capital in the Botswana innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. I've got some esteemed panelists here. Would you like to go and introduce yourselves, please, just to make it easier? Start from that side.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Kenneth Sitimela. I'm the founder and managing director of a software digital solutions company called Leverage Point. We have been in existence for the past 5 years. We do quite a lot of work for governments, banking, insurance, both in Botswana and in Malawi. We are trying to grow into the rest of Africa.
Thank you.
I go by the name Mompoloki Mogobe. I have a company called Mogobe Incorporated, which is a property development and acquisition company. As well, we ventured into restaurants, hospitality, podcasting, and a few other businesses. And the reason I'm on stage today is to talk a bit more about Angel Network Botswana, Angel Investing. We set up an entity called Angel Network Botswana, of which myself, in the interest of full disclosure, myself and Aaron are founding members, and we'll discuss a bit more about that.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rebecca Korte Papafir, and I'm the Acting Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Government Relations with De Beers. I believe I should actually say good afternoon to all the angel investors. I understand there are angel investors here, people with money, trailblazers, innovators, people who are here to take some of us into a new realm of entrepreneurship. So I think that's as much as I'll say about myself.
Thank you. Okay, so we are super tight on time, so I'm going to ask that everybody keeps their responses super brief, but we want to try and share as much as we can with our visiting fellows about the Botswana ecosystem from a risk capital perspective. So, first question is for you, Kenneth. As a recipient awardee of the Botswana Innovation Fund, which is one source of risk capital that we've established within our ecosystem, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs on securing and, more importantly, effectively utilizing risk capital?
Thanks, Aaron. I think when we have to talk about our story as Leverage Point, it's worth having to go a little bit back to 2018 when we established ourselves and we went to market. We went to market as a software development company, interested in having to provide custom-made software solution. But across, as we were progressing with this journey, we saw the importance of moving away from product, from being a service-oriented company to moving towards product. And this was primarily based on the type of problems that we were seeing in the market. A lot of people were asking for certain solutions, and we saw opportunity in having to grow product as opposed to continue to just do service. Product is different. Product requires a lot of effort. And we wanted to establish and make sure that we at least have a good working prototype in as far as the product is concerned. And safe to say that we launched a business point, an ERP that we are promoting in the market for automating of small businesses. And at the time of launching and going with all of this, we wanted to have traction in the market. And we applied during the COVID call for Innovation Fund. Interestingly, we didn't make it, we failed. But that did not deter us from having to continue the belief that we have on the product and continuing to develop it further. And when the commercial call now came, we then applied for commercialization. You can see the difference from the time when we had the idea to the time when we are now applying at a time when we were commercially ready. This on its own should tell you that as an innovator, as an entrepreneur, whether you are applying for investment from either this platform or the other, you must never give up. You must demonstrate a belief on the product that you are trying to promote. That is the first part. The second part is you must build confidence on those that you want investment on. The reason why you need investment is not so much to try to be flashy, but most importantly to develop that which you are working on. And this was quite important to us to demonstrate. A lot of times Tembi keep on saying, when are you finishing to take the fund? And we say, it's a journey, and the journey is having to take money from the fund, growing the product and ensuring the success of that product. So it's a journey of persistence, it's a journey of trust, it's a journey of traction, and it's a journey of demonstrating the zeal and integrity that one, as an entrepreneur, you are.
Thank you so much for that insight. And you know what's very interesting is that in your space, there's a company out of India called Zoho Books, that does ERP, and they have raised no venture capital at all. They've managed to build $1 billion revenue business without any venture capital investment. So maybe, you know, some businesses need more capital to accomplish what they need to, but also sometimes it's possible without the risk capital. Moving on, Mogobe, we've done a number of deals together in the angel investing space. We've got a decent network of a little bit over 40 members of the Angel Network Botswana. I'm not going to put out all the stats out there because I want you to do that. Can you tell us, angel investors obviously play a vital role in early stage financing. We know that. What steps can be taken in our ecosystem to encourage more individuals and groups to become angel investors in Botswana?
It's a very good question. What's been our experience at Angel Network Botswana is that nothing succeeds like success. By that I mean, if we showcase those companies that have already broken through and have already made a significant impact, and by simply pushing those forward, one finds that the level of interest grows. If you consider that when we started Angel Network Botswana, there were only 3 of us virtually, but within 2 or 3 years, as and when we invested, as and when we published in our social media platforms the success stories that we've had, the smart values of this world, Go Smart Value, the organic naturals of this world, and even the ones that didn't do so well, like Bonatseho, which are still struggling. By having a few of those green shoots, if you like, come up and be successful, we had a higher level of interest, and more angels came on. In fact, you said 40, we are close to 50 now.
Wow.
And if you think about it, it's a very, very new idea in Botswana. 3 years. Silicon Valley has been around for 30, 40 years. And Botswana is 3 years, South Africa is probably about 8, 9 years, and Nigeria about the same. So it's a new idea, the idea that entrepreneurs out there who have enjoyed a moderate amount of success, are willing to put out their risk capital, take out money from their own pockets and actually risk it for the sake of the ecosystem, and that way encourage others to come forward. Because as we all know, traditional methods of funding through banks cannot work for entrepreneurs. The first thing you are asked for, do you have a property? Are you able to register a bond? And how long have you been in business? And those sort of things. Whereas the sort of questions that we are interested in are totally different before considering whether or not to invest in an entrepreneur.
Thank you. And you know what's really interesting is the fact that not only in Botswana, when Botswana is a capital-rich country, this is not a capital-poor country. But our high net worth individuals, who are the people who actually become angel investors, because they've walked the journey, they know how hard and unrewarding it is. And they're like, you know what, maybe I can reduce another poor entrepreneur's suffering a little bit by taking some of my risk capital and putting it back into the ecosystem. But what do you think it'll take for us to convince ultra high net worth individuals and high net worth individuals in Botswana to jump on board with this idea that we can actually change the world through our risk capital?
Yeah, I think that I've thought long and hard about that question, because I have mentors. I have people who've mentored me to get where I am. But they prefer to mentor me, if you like, in secret on a one-to-one basis. When you encourage them, at least the generation ahead of us, to come forward and to come out, they're already thinking that they are drawing attention to themselves. The notion that, if a nail sticks out, it's going to attract a hammer. You're going to be visited by BRS, and a lot of funny things will start happening to you if you now come out and people start knowing that you have a bit of money. So that seems to be a very entrenched mindset for the older generation. It's us who are, I'm middle-aged somewhat, but it's our generation that I think has to take upon ourselves to say, no, it doesn't matter. If we're in the information age now, you need to, it doesn't matter if people know about what you've done, and that's the only way that you can attract other entrepreneurs and start making entrepreneurship sexy again. When I was little, entrepreneurship was regarded as was lowly regarded. In fact, if you tell people you're an entrepreneur, people start laughing at you. They say you can't find a job, and that was the mentality. There was even ideas that if you are involved in entrepreneurship, you are into ritual killing or rabo going. Those when I was little, those ideas were quite prevalent, and that would explain why there's been a reluctance on the part of high net worth individuals to come forward. But the fact that we at ANB are at 50 suggests to me that there's a shift that is taking place. There's a greater preparedness to come. There was a time when we were doing an average of 6 pitches at a time. I think this was 2 years ago, towards the end of COVID. And that showed me that really the climate is changing somewhat.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'd like to add to that, because I think, and I'm very non-traditional, so let me apologize in advance. I think, as someone spoke about Miss Sharifa, that she creates tribes. And I find that in the Botswana ecosystem, where we are missing the mark is every entrepreneur wants to do it alone. They want to go to CEDA alone and ask for financing. They want to find a single angel investor to get financing. But successful people all over the world will tell you that the power of networking, the power of getting a group of entrepreneurs together to go to CEDA, to go to a government official, to go to a ministry, to influence policy. That's what we need to do if we want to have a vibrant ecosystem. If we want to encourage faith in our entrepreneurs by angel investors. Imagine if these 2 entrepreneurs went to one angel investor. The risk is hedged, right? But so we need to look at the MIT fellows who are here. They are fellows. So even from academia, let's leverage the people who graduate. Let them form consortiums to do things. You'll find in West and East Africa, when you finish university, your alumni are your first network. When you're born, your family is your first network. But when you start doing a business, you want to do it alone. Why is that? We need to break that in Botswana if we are going to take ourselves to the future state of entrepreneurship.
Awesome. And coming, very powerful. So we talked a little bit about, what the current state is of Risk Capital. I'm very cognizant of time, so I want to go into the future state very quickly. And I know that you guys at De Beers, you're the 800-pound gorilla in our ecosystem. You guys are the corporate, big corporate in this ecosystem. Can you give our audience a little picture of what De Beers has in mind in terms of its role in building entrepreneurship and innovation in Botswana?
Thanks, Arun. Sure. De Beers is really, really interested in people. So we are a 136-year-old company. In Botswana, we've been here for 55 years. If I let you in on a little secret, the secret to De Beers' success, and I'm whispering, is actually partnerships, if you didn't know. So what we do is we have a strategy called Building Forever. Now, Building Forever is a sexy way to say a diamond is forever. We're going to leverage diamonds to build forever. Very nice, that's what we do, we're a marketing company. But more than that, the Building Forever looks at how can we support sustainable growth in the countries where we operate. So in Botswana, one of the things we are focusing on is livelihoods. So we are saying for us to create a shift in livelihoods, we need to support entrepreneurship as the real engine to move Botswana forward. So what we've done is we've looked at the whole entrepreneurship pipeline. So talk about startups. We have a program called Go to Market, and someone spoke about, the need to be able to support people with ideas to go to the next level. We provide the capacitation in collaboration with Stanford Graduate School of Business. Sorry, MIT. And what we do is we've taken over 150 entrepreneurs through the program. We've seen good success factors. Some of them have been funded by Mr. Mogobe here. And then if you go to the next level, we have a program called Awome, which looks at women and the informal sector. We have taken over 1,200 women in Botswana through that program, fully funded by ourselves in partnership with UN Women. I'm going to keep saying in partnership with. So the first one was in partnership with Stanford. This one is in partnership with UN Women. We have the Stanford Seed Program, which looks at an export-led, driving an export-led force. And we capacitate entrepreneurs such as my good friend Arun here. And we support them with establishing networks in Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Western Africa, and the whole world. Because a business that can export skill, that can export product, is a business that will be sustainable. We also have Tokafala, and with Tokafala what we are saying is, we have been in this industry for 55 years in Botswana. How can we create the next De Beers? How can we create the next Alpha Direct? How can we create the next leverage point? And we've realized that to do that, we need to have value chains. It's not enough to just have the person who will sell the diamond. We want to have the person who starts right at the beginning, the miner, the sorter, the aggregator. So we have different value chains that we are supporting, whether it's in mining, in tourism, in agriculture, etc. And then last but not least, I know some of us may have heard of the Diamonds for Development Fund, which is a fund that has come out of the recent discussions with the government of Botswana. Again, our partnership. And what we're doing here is, this year we'll be investing 1 billion pula into different sectors to support entrepreneurship and growth.
That's roughly $80 million, by the way.
And over the next 10 years, we will be investing up to 10 billion, depending on how the market does. So basically, we see a future state of risk capital being an environment or an ecosystem where partnerships drive the future state of this economy. And I think our call to action is to say, we would like other organizations, and it doesn't matter if you're a startup, form your networks, form your partnership. It doesn't matter if you're MIT. When you come to Botswana on a tour, form networks, form partnerships, do something sustainable that we can stand one day, 10 years from now, and say, we were in a small room, and coming out of that engagement, these are the partnerships that came out. Otherwise, it's just a talk shop. And we don't do talk shops at De Beers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, I have so many questions to ask you guys, and I really honestly enjoy just talking to you guys so much. But our fellows do have a flight to catch, and I do want them to meet with some of our local innovators, at least for a few minutes before all that happens. So let me take this first instance to thank all of you guys. I know Mogobe, you flew down from Cape Town specifically for this. So I need to give you a plug, you know, because you did that. Mogobe runs an incredible podcast. It's called Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom. He interviews a wide range of people. He's got his own book that he's just launched. Please go on YouTube, follow him, like him, put that little bell, do all that stuff. Thanks Mogobe for coming all the way for this. Really appreciate it. And thank you to the rest of our panel. You guys were incredible. I wish I could sit here and talk all day to you, but we are on a very strict timeline. So please do accept my sincere apologies for not being able to stretch this conversation further. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the final panel discussion in this first MIT Negatum Foundry Fellows Botswana Eco-Systems Tour here at the Botswana Digital and Innovation Hub. Thank you so much indeed to our moderator, Mr. Arunayas.